E-Biology class, Fatima Convent High School, myself, Dipali. Class 10, Chapter 7, Control and Coordination. Now let us understand what we mean by these two words, control and coordination. We all are familiar with the commands of march past, left, right, left, right. We know that when we hear these words, automatically our legs and hand show a coordinated movement with the word left. Our left leg rises up, and with the word right, our right leg rises up. There are n number of commands in our day to day life every day which we come across, and we are able to control ourselves and perform those activities. From the start of our day till the end of our day, even during our sleep time, our body is functioning in a particular coordinated manner. The hands, legs, eyes, nose, each and every organ of our body is working in coordination with each other, and it follows the commands given by our brain or commands received from our environment, and we respond to those commands. So let us understand now what this chapter tells us. Now, in the previous section, we understood that each and every cell moves, and the movement of the cell requires energy, and this energy is obtained from the digestion of food which we eat through the process of nutrition, and digestion breaks this food nutrients into simpler absorbable form, and for that we need respiratory system to give us oxygen. Then furthermore, these components are to be circulated in our body, and for that we need the circulatory system. And the waste generated during these processes is thrown out through excretory process. But what about the control or the coordination of all these systems? Or how does our body functions in accordance to the command given by us? Stand up, sit down, eat, sleep, drink. Any activity we do around us also shows movement, but these movements are not related to growth. They are movements other than growth, and they are actually response to some triggers coming from our environment. These triggers are called as stimuli, and these stimuli gets a response, and our body acts according to the command given by our system, and this system will be called as nervous system. So this chapter we are going to study about nervous system and how we human beings are the uppermost living organisms due to our thinking power. Other organisms do have nervous system, but their nervous system is not so well developed as human beings, and so let us study the most complex nervous system, that is human nervous system. In the previous chapter, we looked at life processes involved in maintenance function in living organisms. There we had started with a notion we all have, that if we see something moving, it is alive. Some of these movements are in fact the result of growth, as in plants. A seed germinates and grows, and we see that the seedlings move over the course of a few days. It pushes soil aside and comes out. But if its growth were to be stopped, these movements would not happen. Some movements, as in many animals and some plants, are not connected with growth. As I told you just now, the movements related to growth requires other life processes. But what about the movements like cat running, child playing on a swing, buffalo chewing a cud? These movements are not caused by growth. Why do we associate such visible movements with life? A possible answer is that we think of movement as a response to the change in the environment of the organism. So, the response to the change in the environment of the organism. The cat was running because it has seen a mouse. Not only that, we also think of a movement as an attempt by living organism to use changes in their environment to their advantage. Plants grow out into the sunshine. Children try to get pleasure and fun out of swinging. Buffaloes chew cud to help break tough food so to be able to digest it better. When bright light is focused on our eyes or when we touch a hot object, we detect the change and respond to it with movement in order to protect ourselves. So, these movements are actually some responses for protection or maybe to continue further activities which are not related to growth. If we think a bit more about this, it becomes apparent that all these movement in response to the environment is carefully controlled. Each kind of a change in the environment evokes an appropriate movement in response. When we want to talk to our friend in class, we whisper rather than shouting loudly. So we know that when to shout and when to talk softly. We even know how to behave in a well mannered way when we are in front of some guests or when we are with our friends. Our behavior is different. So clearly, the movement to be made depends on the event that is triggering it. Therefore, such controlled movements must be connected to the recognition of various events in environment followed by only the correct movement in response. In other words, living organisms must use system providing control and coordination. In keeping with the general principle of the body organization in multicellular organisms, specialized tissues are used to provide these control and coordinated activities. So, we can say that the system which helps our body to function in a controlled and coordinated manner is called as the nervous system. This is the system which we are going to study in this chapter. Thank you.